Hello everyone, welcome back to Ronin's Den. My name is Eric and we are picking up our companion series for our 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons campaign of The Night Below. In this video, we're going to be looking at another one of the player character classes from the Player's Handbook. We only got 2 of those left, including this one. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the Thief. Thieves in 2nd edition are rogues in later editions, or I should say newer editions. Rogue in the old games was a class grouping that covered thieves and bards. Now, keep in mind, just like in previous videos, we're not going to be talking about any of the lore behind these characters. We're just going to be talking the mechanics. What does it take to qualify for this class? What do you get for being a member of this class? Are there any hindrances that you need to be aware of while you're playing this class? We're purely looking at it on a mechanical basis as presented in the Player's Handbook. So, in order to qualify to be a thief, the only requirement is a minimum of a 9 in your dexterity score. Any one of the player character races in the handbook is able to be a thief, and the prime requisite for a thief is dexterity. So what that means is, as long as you have a 16 or higher in your dexterity score, you gain an additional 10% to your experience points after the DM has tallied up the total, divided it up, and given you your portion. Being members of the rogue grouping, thieves start the game with 2 initial weapon proficiencies. They gain an additional 1 every 4 levels. They attack with a -3 penalty with any weapon of which they are not proficient with. They start the game with 3 non-weapon proficiencies, and they gain a new 1 every 4 levels of experience. Thieves do have a limited set of gear that they're able to pick from and be proficient with. When it comes to weapons, they may take the following weapons. Which are club, dagger, dart, hand crossbow, knife, lasso, short bow, sling, broadsword, longsword, short sword, and staff. When thieves are not wearing any armor, they get a bonus to their thieving skills. When they're wearing leather armor, they suffer no penalties. Anything heavier than that, and they suffer penalties to thieving skills. Okay, this is where you start getting into the meat and potatoes of the thief class. Thieves have a set of abilities that is not unique to them, but they gain access to all of them, and they can use these to a level that no other class can. If you remember back to our Ranger video, Rangers had access to move in shadows, move silently, and hide in shadows. However, a thief has pickpockets, open locks, find and remove traps, move silently, hide in shadows, detect noise, climb walls, and read languages. These skills use a D100 roll under system. So simply put, you consult your thief ability, you look at the percentage, you roll a D100. If you roll under your percentage, you are successful in attempting that action. It's that easy. When it comes to these skills, certain things affect them though. So all thief characters, regardless of their species, start off with these base scores at the top of my screen. Then you make the following adjustments should you pick to be a dwarf, an elf, a gnome, a half-elf, or a halfling. And yes, halflings do make the best thieves out of the Player's Handbook. From there, you consult your dexterity adjustments table, and if you have a sufficiently high dexterity, you gain additional bonuses to certain thief skills, and if your dexterity is low, you actually suffer some penalties to them from as well. So honestly, unless you have a minimum of a 13 in your dexterity, I probably wouldn't make a thief. Unless 13 is like your highest stat, because you're doing D6, 3D6 arrange the taste, or 3D6 down the line. But 13 is when you have no penalties for dexterity. All right. You can further influence your points, or your percentages, I should say, using discretionary points. Starting at level 1, all thief characters have 60 discretionary points to spend on any of their thieving skills on a 1-for-1 basis. So 1 point is 1%. There is one catch to spending those points. You may only spend up to 30 of them on any single thief skill. You can't spend 31 or more. Starting at level 2, you gain additional discretionary points to spend on your thief skills and advance them with a very similar carve out. You can only spend up to 15 points on any single skill from that point moving forward. What this allows you to do is make some incredibly diverse thief characters that are good at the different abilities. Some will excel. You could do a jack of all trades, a specialist type. The system really lets you customize your thief character in a way that you only really see something similar with the wizard and the priest classes when it comes to their spells, giving you your unique flavor. This is the thief equivalent to that. Besides thief skills, they also gain access, and they are the only class that gains access to the backstab attack. Backstab works similar to, but different than, sneak attack or surprise attack from newer editions. In order for a backstab attack to go off, there has to be, well, a back for the thief to attack. That's first and foremost. So a backstab would work on something like a troll or an ogre, an orc, a human, even something like a lion or a wolf, a giant, but you cannot backstab an ooze, a jelly, an elemental. There's no back. There's no vitals there that it can hit. You're not backstabbing ghosts. I apologize. I know for some people that sounds really cool, but rules is written. That's not what you're going to be doing. When you try to resolve a backstab attack, the target also needs to be unaware that the thief intends to attack them. So most commonly how people will set this up is they have their character move silently and hide in shadows before the combat starts. The thief sneaks around during combat to get in a position behind the target, and then they launch for their attack. If this is done, the character gets a +4 to their attack roll. If the attack is successful, the thief gets a multiplier for their damage. So from level 1 through 4, that multiplier is ×2, 5 through 8 ×3, 9 through 12 ×4, and 13 and up ×5. This attack will also, before you multiply the damage, you want to apply any high strength score bonus and any magical weapon bonuses for damage as well. And those bonuses do help when you're doing your backstab. So if you have a +1 dagger, you get a +5 to hit, unless you have a strength score that gives you a higher % to hit with a melee weapon, or I say a higher bonus to hit with a melee weapon. Thieves also gain access to Thieves' Cant, which is the special form of communication known by all thieves across the lands. This is, slang, written language. It's thief talk. Only thieves can understand it. Starting at 10th level, thieves can start to read magical scrolls from wizards and priests. So this means a thief could read a scroll of Cure Light Wounds, Cure Heavy Wounds, a Resurrection Scroll. There is a chance for this not to work, though, and that is 25%. So anytime the thief attempts to go ahead and read one of these scrolls, you want to roll a percentile. If it's 25 or less, the spell is reversed. So a Cure Light Wounds is going to become a Cause Light Wounds. A resurrection will become a slay. If this is for something like, say, Fireball, a very common scroll that gets scribed, instead of the fireball going to the target that the thief wants to hit, instead it's going to be centered directly on the scroll itself, inflicting damage in the radius around the thief character. Thieves, like warriors, also gain the ability to gain followers. So they're not going to build castles or like a keep like a fighter would, right? But they might take over a warehouse or put up a kind of like a den down in the sewers, something of that nature. Some hidden secret area where the thief and their followers can meet. So once this is established, the thief has hit the appropriate level of level 10. You go ahead and roll 4d6, and this is going to determine how many followers the thief is able to attract. You then can roll a d100 that number of times and consult the table that you see on the screen now, which will give you the type of follower, and then you roll for their level range. And over time, these followers will make themselves known to the thief. And that's the thief, people. They are a class that has the ability to be incredibly diverse, depending on how you go ahead and specialize out with your thief skills. Like fighters, they do attract some followers. It's not an army, but it is a guild of thieves. We'll call it. They attract their own guild once they hit level 10, and they can still hire additional followers should they want to do that and attract henchmen outside of this total. Anyway, let me know what you think about the thief class down in the comment section. If you could, give us a like and subscribe. That really helps get this video out in front of more people. I have seen the poll, and I will be working on those videos coming up. I'm going to do, when it comes to the Night Below campaign lore, I'm going to follow behind where we are in the campaign. So no spoilers go out to the people who are playing in it. I don't like to spoil things that are upcoming because nobody in my group has played that campaign yet. And there's a lot of fun little twists that pop up. So keep your eyes open for that. I'll also be doing some kit videos. And yeah, I will catch you next time where we wrap up our look at the classes with the last one, which is going to be the Bard. And then we're going to dive into the mechanics of this game. And we'll see where we go from there. Have a good day, folks.